Good evening, everyone. It's Kalini Kent here, and I've got the lovely Nick Brown in the studio with me tonight again. Hello, Nick.
Hi, how are you doing?
I can't hear you very well, Nick. Are you got your volume up?
You're not
It's
hearing
lovely
me.
to have you here again, and I hope we've got some people listening into us again tonight. And so, if you are, please do. In fact, I can see some eyes already. Please do say hello to us. Let us know who you are. Put your name in the chat. If you want StreamYard to show your name, you need to give them permission. But otherwise, it'd be lovely to have you involved and engage with us and ask us any questions. We thought tonight that Nick would be a really good one for us to actually look at 2021, and let's put 2020 behind us, because it's been a bit of a difficult year for many. But instead of focusing on the negative, what we thought would be good is to look ahead and think about our goals and what we want for the future and our vision. And as you know, the Time to Talk slot is actually about us thinking about all the things that are important to us all, talking about conversations that matter. I'm trying to encourage people to come on, chat about the things that are important to them, but also for us to have conversations about things that might be of issue to us. So tonight, we said I was going to talk a little bit more about goal setting and about the Wheel of Life, which I've got here to show you. And Nick, do you want to show them what you've got here, Nick? Do you want to show your vision board?
I've got my vision board.
Nick has got a big vision board to show you. So we're going to talk about how we can look ahead to 2021 and how we can look at what we want to achieve. So if you were to summarize in a few words, Nick, how you have found 2020, we're not going to state the obvious. People have had their struggles, they've had their stresses. Life has been a difficult juggling act. I personally have found it a juggling act, but also I've enjoyed the time to work on me and my business rather than I was all helter-skelter. But everybody's had a different experience. What's it been like for you?
Funny, because you just said helter-skelter. For me, it's a roller coaster.
Absolutely like a roller coaster, yes. Go on.
Yeah. So yeah, really up and down. Actually, the beginning of March, end of March, sorry, when beginning of lockdown, I was really excited by having some time to spend with the family, to kind of focus on things, and I was really looking forward to it. And then, as you know, we had quite a few bereavements in our family happen within a short space of time, and that kind of took away, obviously, you know, that sort of enjoyment of that time. And then things just seemed to kind of escalate quickly into, you know, like things kept changing. Every few weeks there was like one child would be at school, one was at home, then it was holidays, then it's like back to school, and so it's been kind of up and down, really. And I can't believe, you know, we've got to this stage of the year where we're beginning to look at next year, and you know, we've come through it relatively unscathed. Obviously we've had some bad things happen, but we've also enjoyed times together. So yeah, definitely up and down.
I think it's been a lot of changes, hasn't it? And I think that's really the thing that signifies it all, isn't it? Is the changes. And I think the feel of this lockdown is different, isn't it? Because the first lockdown, nobody knew what it was. It was the first time it ever hit us. Everybody was so used to their normal routines, and really until there was nothing like it since the war, you know, and most of us weren't alive then. So, you know what I mean? It was that's what I think has been the shock to the system, because it's almost like the biggest traumatic event that's ever happened in anyone's life. We didn't know how to cope with it. And also, you know, remember they said, oh, lockdown for 3 weeks. And then that 3 weeks extended to 6 weeks. And then it was 2 weeks. And that was the hardest thing. But I think the great thing about that lockdown was the weather. We had the beautiful weather, didn't we? We had the gardens to go out into or parks if we didn't have a garden. So I think everybody was able to actually enjoy the weather. And in some respects, it was almost like a holiday feel, I think, with the kids, if you weren't, you know, during the holidays itself, because the weather was good. I think now it's harder, isn't it?
Yeah,
and I think
felt like that.
Yeah, the dark night. Some people like it.
I don't know. I'm finding it easier. I'm finding it lovely actually this time. So.
Is that because the kids are at school this time though?
Yeah. Totally.
I think that's possibly something to do with it. I think the first time around the kids weren't at school, so that lockdown experience.
I think that, but I think the other thing as well is that this time, you know, the powers that be recognised that we needed to have human connection for mental health, and they allowed us to have that kind of meeting with one other person and having time outside with that person. So I've done quite a lot of that. We met the other day, didn't we, Colleen? We had a great time. I've been out for a walk in Durham this morning. I think I've been running with my friends a couple of times a week, so I'm getting that kind of one-to-one time, and that's giving me that human connection, which is what I did this last time. So yeah, you know, that's what's been a lot better this time, definitely. I suppose, well, let us know how you felt about that, if you've been able to get out and about as well, you know, people watching, if you've been
please do put some comments in the chat. I can see people listening. Please do give us some feedback if you've been struggling, or how you found it, or if you've enjoyed it even. And I personally, I think it's allowed me, in a sense, to slow down, because I was just really on a rat race, production after production, and we were supposed to be staging Greece in April. We've done Aladdin in February, then I directed Treasure Island in December. So it was all helter-skelter. But so what we thought we would talk about tonight is sort of strategies to look ahead for 2021, because really we want it, even though we've obviously learned a lot about how to cope with COVID in a more measured way. I think everybody's found that, haven't they? They know what to do now a bit more, and they've got maybe more strategies under the belt as to how to manage it. But I think it's the thing about, you know, well, what do we want to do with 2021? And I think we've got to have probably two scenarios, with COVID and without. Do you know what I mean? Because if we obviously are living with COVID, it's going to restrict us a bit to what we can achieve, perhaps, but we might be able to turn our businesses online. But in terms of like the things we can plan, we can't necessarily plan definitely for the holidays. We might want them, but we might have to think about in a different way. So it's about visioning how we want that, isn't it? I think if we look at and that's where I thought your vision board is going to be great, but I also thought this was useful, because don't know if all of you've come across the Wheel of Life, and what it does. I'll just show you that. It actually breaks your life down into segments, so that you can, sometimes when you are looking at, oh gosh, what do I want? What do I want to be? What do I want to do? What do I want to have in life? It can be overwhelming if you don't know where to start. And what you've therefore got to do, first of all, is break it down into chunks, so that you can then establish what areas of your life you can tackle one at a time, so that you can think, well, where am I at the moment? The idea about the Wheel of Life and looking at where you are, is you look at where you are now, but where you'd like to get to. I always quote Stephen Covey here, begin with the end in mind. Where do you want to be in an ideal world? If life was in, you know, if you got to your 90s and you were sitting in a rocking chair and looking back on life, you'd be asking yourself, well, where do I want to be? What do I want to be doing? What do I want to look back and be proud to say, what's my legacy? And what have I achieved? Do you know what I mean? Have you got any thoughts about that, Nick? If you were sitting in a rocking chair, what you'd like to have achieved long term?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, well,
we didn't prepare for that.
Travel is, no, you didn't.
That's
a really big thing for me, and being able to see the world, you know, and that's something that we started before we had children. Since we had children, we have a place in Wales, as you do, Colleen, and that tends to be our kind of bolt hole that we go to every summer. So we've kind of gone from wanting to explore to going to the same place every year, which has been lovely. We have a place in Portugal we go every year, and now my dad's got a place in Cyprus. So we kind of do these regular holidays, which I think for the kids when they're little is really great, and it's actually easy as a parent going to a place where you know where everything is. But I do definitely have some plans. We've got a 10-year plan to retire, so that we're both in our 50s when we retire, so we're young enough to enjoy the world, enjoy our lives, and you know, we're not working ourselves to the point where we retire and think, where did our life go? That's the biggest thing for me, is you know, looking back and thinking, I've done everything in my life I wanted to do. I've not kind of swimped on that because of that, you know, and I've not basically wasted my life working as well. I just think that, you know, I say this about my dad. I was thinking about it today. My dad's 74. He's just bought a place in Cyprus, but he still works every day. He's an accountant. He won't give up his business, and he's moving out to Cyprus, but he still reckons he's going to fly home every 6 weeks to run his business. And I'm like, Dad, you're mid-70s, 75 next Saturday. And I'm like, Dad, please, come on, it's time to enjoy it now. But he actually loves working.
Yeah.
But then equally, from my perspective, I'm like, Dad, this thing you could have been doing, like, you could have spent more time with us, you know, that kind of thing. But you know, we've all got to do what we want to do, and that's what he chooses.
Yeah.
So that's great. But I want to be able to look back and say, you know, I didn't just spend my life working.
Yeah. So. Well, I think for me, I know that this is where it's important to sort of look at it. That's why the Wheel of Life is great, because you look at it in different segments. So like, that's like you look at it, your career. This is how you do it. You look at your career, like you break it down, like your family and friends, your significant other, your partnership.
Yeah.
And you look at like your fun and recreation. So you've obviously mentioned their holidays and so on, health, money, personal growth, physical environment. And people can change these titles. They can actually talk about spirituality, whatever it is that is important to them. And for me, I know certainly, I mean, David, my husband's taken early retirement, and he took it sort of quite a few years ago, about 12 years ago. So I'm a bit of a workaholic as well, but I suppose I want to look back and think that I have achieved what I'm capable of achieving and reach fulfillment. And I feel I've got a lot to offer people still in terms of helping them. And I want to really feel that by the end of it, I've actually done that. I don't want to retire and feel like, oh gosh, I'm not fulfilled. I think we all want to sort of have that fulfillment. I certainly do. So that for me is one. And I think my other main core goal is health. I want to be fit and healthy, so I'm there for grandchildren, you know, to me, and then I can grandchildren running around and I can play with them and that sort of thing. So those are my two main goals at the moment. It's health, actually, and health and well-being.
Yeah.
And you know, sort of looking at a 5-year plan, really, or 10-year, whatever it is, for retirement sort of thing. Maybe, I don't know how long it will be. I need to work on that for 2021. So go on, tell me. So that's how the Wheel of Life works, and you can then share how you do a vision board. And the idea, everybody, is that what you do is you think ahead to what you really want ideally in an ideal world. But what you do is it for each section. So it may be your career. Where do you want to be in the next year or in 10 years' time? And then you say, on a scale of 1 to 10, where 10 is an ideal situation and 1 is the least ideal situation, you say, well, where you are at the moment. And so it may be with my career, I'm feeling maybe there's more I want to achieve. I'm 5 out of 10 at the moment. And then you draw a line there, and then you go round the wheel, and you end up with a bit of a wobbly wheel. It's not going to be a smooth one that runs along the ground. And then you say to yourself, well, what can I do? You look at one thing at a time. This is where a coach helps you. And can you look at one thing at a time? And in fact, actually do these wheel of wellbeing workshops. And it's and where you look at that wheel, and then you think, well, if I was looking at that, what do I need to do in the next month, next year, next 5 years to achieve that? And then you can then start saying, what can I do tomorrow? So if it was health, it may be for me making sure I get back onto doing my cross trainer every day because I'm not. I've been too busy. It might be just little bite-sized things, and the more you do the little bite-size, it leads to it, doesn't it? But you've got to have that vision, and I think this is where the vision board comes in. You need to know where you're heading, and you need to know what your vision is, where you want to get to, in order for it to work, doesn't it? And you've got to keep focusing on that. And I think this is where, do you want to explain about your vision board? I think this is where vision boards are, because you're visualizing, and I'm a visualizer.
I think a vision board is really there to kind of pinpoint the things that resonate with you, that you're attracted to. So when we create our vision boards, we literally have like a magazine, and we're flicking through and we're seeing words and pictures that stand out. And you could be ripping pages out, ripping words out, and you could end up with piles and piles of things. The work that you can do then is to really sort of think about what those things that you've pulled out, and kind of, is there any themes in there? Is there any colours that you particularly pulled out? Is there anything that's standing out? Equally, it could just be that you really love that picture and you're not even sure why. But you'll go through and you'll kind of sift through it until you get the things that you want to put on your vision board. Now, when I did mine with a coach, and we did the Wheel of Life. And actually, I quite specifically, under her guidance, picked out 3 areas I wanted to work on. So actually, mine did 3 sections. But when I do my vision board workshops, which I run with Parentpreneur, we tend to be a bit more free than that. So we are literally like, what's standing out for you? And I've got some amazing stories of things that we've found from people doing the vision boards. And it's not even necessarily like you've got a conscious goal. It could be that you just resonate with something, but you don't know why. And this is where the bit of woo comes in with it. And you kind of almost have to trust that sometimes you don't even know why that's on there. So I had a lady last year who came along, and she was flicking through the magazine. She saw a picture of Ibiza, and she felt compelled to take that picture out and put it on her vision board. And she is she's been to Ibiza on holiday. She absolutely loves it as a holiday destination. She just thought that means, you know, Ibiza, it's probably going to be one of my holiday destinations this year, something like that. Now, the next day, she got a phone call, I think an email from a lady asking her some information about her business. She's a graphic designer, this lady. So she got this email inquiring about her business, and the lady lives in Ibiza. And actually, she shared this with us back in January after we did the vision board workshop last year. But then she also shared this story with me in my group a couple of weeks ago, and sort of expanded on the rest of the story. And basically, that lady's turned into one of her biggest customers this year.
Wow.
So, you know, you don't know really what that's going to lead to when you put it on. So another one, if you've got time for me to share another little story.
Yeah, I was going to say to you, do you know what, I was just going to say, do you know what that just, oh yeah, please do. But I was just saying, you know what that sounds like? A lot of people talk about the law of attraction, don't they? And how you need to open yourself to what the universe can offer you. And if you visualize it and you just put it out, leave yourself open to opportunities, that's what will happen. And it's interesting. I think it's not just about opening your mind to the opportunities, it's opening your time to it. And I've noticed that sometimes people think I've got to be always busy, but I've actually enjoyed just letting things just settle and seeing what's happening. Do you know what I mean? And enjoying like the process of these talks, and not necessarily thinking, oh, it's got to end up somewhere. There's no money involved in this. I just love it. And it's just amazing.
It's the impact you can have and the ripple that can come from it, and the inspiration that you give to people. You just don't know what that's going to have, you know. Like you could inspire one person tonight who then goes and does something else that it affects 5 other people, that then affects 100 other people, and it's just amazing what can happen. So, you know, keep doing these because they're fab. But yeah, let me just share one more experience that I had. I mean, I did the vision board probably the last 4 or 5 years, and in 2018, my vision board had a big America word written on it with a big aeroplane, and I knew that I really wanted to go to America. I had no idea how I was going to get to America, or, you know, I didn't know. I just knew I wanted America, so it was on my vision board. And then in October, I got a phone call from my business partner in my health business I'm in, and she said, our company convention is in Utah at the end of October, and I've got a spare ticket, so I'm going to pay for you for your flight. Your accommodation's paid for, you just need to pay for your food. Would you like to come 5 days in Utah? I was like, hell yeah. So I could not have written that was going to happen. I didn't know anything about it, didn't even know that it was going to be an opportunity. I don't think she even knew that was going to be an opportunity at the beginning of that year. It was something the company did, which wasn't, they don't normally do. And yeah, so I got my trip to America. And I also managed that year to meet Gary Barlow. Well, not meet Gary Barlow, but get Gary Barlow as close as I possibly could. And he was on my vision board too. So
wow.
Yeah.
And
I
you know what?
Just do it and just believe in the power.
Yeah. And I do think actually as well, it's about, I think sometimes it's having that focused time, because we all say, oh, we'll sit down and we'll plan it. But actually, that's where sometimes having somebody to work with, it's that accountability partner. So, for example, you know, I could easily, I've got these sheets, I do them with people, but have I done one for myself? Probably not. because you don't. You need to actually have that accountability partner, or just even in a group setting like that, which actually helps, and it makes it a bit fun, doesn't it? It's a bit more enjoyable. Please do, anybody who's listening. Yeah, several people who are listening, please do, if you've ever put a comment in the chat to say whether or not you've actually ever done a vision board workshop. It'd be great to see. I can't really see any comments at the moment. I'm sure people are actually commenting, but they're not actually, I'm not seeing the comments at the moment.
I would absolutely recommend anyone to do a vision board. Even if you have never done one before, you've not got clear, just get yourself some magazines, rip some pictures out that you love and stick them on a piece of card or paper or whatever, and put it where you can see it. My husband, he was always like, oh, I'm not doing that sort of thing. And then one year he was like, yeah, I'm going to sit down and do it. And he did his, and he stuck it above the mirror in the downstairs toilet. So he looked at it every day. And actually, part of his was to do some charity work, to do some like fitness, and to do some walking. And he ended up walking that summer, doing a 54-mile walk over 24 hours in Scotland, and raised about £800 or something for the soldiers charity. So he really, I think it really encouraged him and inspired him to go for that goal. So it could be something that you already know you want, but it could be something you just resonated, you don't even know why, but it will reveal itself at some point as to why you've got it on there. So and do you feel that sometimes it's an issue? I sometimes often follow my gut, and I feel that there's a lot of intuition sometimes in these things, isn't there? You sort of like feel like as you just put that thing, you don't know why, but you just did it. That lady who put, who wanted to go, So there's a bit of a time lag. So if anybody's watching and you want to get involved, in fact, you know what would be so nice as well? I think it is that social side, and I think we've all been missing that, haven't we? Yeah.
We're missing that, and I think actually that's what's so nice about it. Oh, Maya, I'm looking forward to doing this next month. So, Nick, you've got one coming up, haven't you? A vision board workup. Do you want to share about it?
Yeah. So it's happening on the 9th of December. We're doing it via Zoom. The details are in our Parentpreneur networking group on Facebook, so you can go in there and find out, and there's an Eventbrite link. It's £10 for the 2-hour session, and Alison is our super duper coach who's going to come in, and she's really amazing at getting you to kind of center and focus and into a place where you're ready, you're open to kind of that creation. So and then we just have fun together. We're gonna create these boards, and you may not finish the session, but you can start creating a board, and you may finish it, and then you've got your lovely board to put in your house and where you can see it, because it's gonna make a difference.
Is it just a big piece of card then, Nick?
Sorry?
Is it just a big piece of card?
Yes. Yeah, this is just
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I've had them on the back of a cereal box.
I'm very tempted. We've got a pin board. I might just have a go. Because one of my visions, for example, I was actually, a lot of people don't know this, I'm actually from the Caribbean. People often don't realise with my look. So I actually am from Guyana, which is the north coast of South America. And I left there when I was 2. And then lived in Barbados for a couple of years and came over to England when I was 4. So I've actually been in England, a British citizen it was a British colony, since I was 4. So I've actually went back when I was 19, and then that's it. I went back when I was 11 and 19. I haven't been back. And I've always said I want to take my children to see their roots. And they've always said they want to. So it was our plan to do it this year. And it's not happened. So I'm actually looking, the plan is then to try next year. But of course, with things at the moment, you just can't really plan. So I think I'm going to leave it for a bit. But that, I think, would definitely be on my vision board, to go to Guyana and just sort of visit there, and Trinidad or whatever, just go around a few Caribbean countries. That would be my vision. I'm just going to share a couple of comments. So Maya, this is Maya's comment. Looking forward to doing this next month. Thank you, Maya. Lovely to see that you're listening. And then Louise Palmer.
Hi, Louise.
I think Louise is saying that when I asked the question, have you ever done one? And she says, never. I'm not even sure what it is. I wrote a goal. A goal's a bit of a different thing for this year, but none of them have happened. So, Louise, have you done something like this, the Wheel of Life, at all? Just say in the comment if you have. And in fact, I'm happy to even do a session where I talk to people and explain a bit more about it. And then we do, You know, some people like it visual, some people like to write it all down, because the great thing about this is that what you then do is you think about what you want, you then write it down, and you put a detailed plan together for each area of your life. And so it's more of a written thing. And some people find the writing is better than the pictures. We're all different, aren't we? This breaks it down into smaller chunks, really, and chunks it down so it's more achievable. But yeah. Louise, no, meaning I think that means no, you've not done Wheel of Life. I think that's what you mean. I think that's what she means. Yeah. Yeah, perfect. So
Louise,
Nick,
I think it's an amazing thing to do. I would recommend it.
Yeah, I think so, actually. It might be just worth just running a quick workshop about it. So what I wanted to say, guys, is if there's anybody who also wants to come on and have a chat with us, please say so. Please do, because I'm doing these time to talks. The idea is to do it at least 3 times a week, keeping it a bit flexible. Friday night, though, is my evening for young people. And in fact, this Friday, I've got a lovely, tomorrow night, I've got Sam, and I've got a lovely girl called Angela, and we did a talk last week before last with Kieran and Sam, and it's just an opportunity for young people to come on and talk about anything. It could be music, it could be the computer games they like to play, or the social scene, what they're missing about their friends, anything like that. So anybody who does actually want to come on and join me, just get in touch. You can catch me on Facebook. Louise is saying, not done the Wheel of Life. I lose the video when I type, so sorry if things are a bit haphazard. Okay. Oh, I see. You're saying you lose the vision. Right. Okay. Got you. Oh, thanks, Louise. But really lovely to have you here. Is it somebody you know, Nick?
Yeah, lovely to see. Yes, yeah. Louise is a good friend. We worked together a while back in one of our businesses, and yeah, she's
fantastic.
She's lovely. I hope you're well. It's nice to see you on here.
Oh, that's great. So is there anything else you want to share, Nick? Have you tell us about your wins for the week, maybe?
My wins for the week, I've got to say, I have been doing a lives course, so it's getting much more in my comfort zone to go live out there into Facebook when you just don't know who's watching. But actually, I have done a couple this week, and I felt really good about them. So I think that's a definite win for the week to step out of my comfort zone again.
Well, actually, my win for the week is actually mostly today. I have been working really hard. I had 2 very big presentations to do today, and very, very different, actually. One was for a lovely lady called Marina Beach, and it was for her group of ladies that she's working with, and it was all about the art of communication. And then I did another one, and there was over 100 people who were actually on it. In fact, ended up just under 100 actually who were attending. It was lovely. It was amazing. I was buzzing. I was just like on a high, and it was all about the art of communication, the importance of it, you know, the barriers to communication, this screen and all this sort of stuff, and how you can actually do lives, how you focus on it. So it's a little bit of communication stuff, how to structure a presentation, how to get your message across in a, you know, with passion, enthusiasm, and also how to think about, you know, what to say, how to say it, taking into account your audience and all that sort of stuff. It was I really enjoyed it. So I've had some lovely feedback. So that's my big win of the day. It's been lovely, actually. So listen, fantastic. I know it has been actually lots of fun. So we're going to go, unless anybody's got any other comments to add and send to us. Please do, as I said, we're going to be meeting Sam and Angela tomorrow. So please do tune in. I sometimes stream this to 3 platforms. It's gone live onto YouTube tonight. It's also gone live into Inspirational Women of the World. And it's also gone live onto my Facebook profile. Sometimes I do it on my page, my group, my profile, whatever. But lovely to see everybody. And thank you very much. And thanks for coming on, Nick.
Yeah, thank you again for having me. I love it.
Bit of a delay, I think, at the moment. Bye, everybody. Take care.